Let me welcome everybody to our WoW Wednesday, our testimonial call with Dr. Sheila and myself. I'm going to go ahead and read the disclaimer. AO scan technology is not a medical device. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease. If you're sick, please consult with your healthcare provider. So I'm just going to open this on up. If there's anybody that would like to share anything about the AO scanner, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. There's Carolyn. All right. Hello, hello, hello to everybody.
Oh, I have one.
Go
Hi, Tam.
for it. Hello, hello.
Okay, I was sharing, I love to do demo scans. Well, I call them demo scans. I do easy scan for people interested so that they can see what this is all about. I love sharing these because I think it's a huge business builder. I don't charge for these. And I had a practitioner, I'm getting a lot of people that are just really interested in the thermal imaging. And then that leads me into the AO scan technology that they haven't heard of yet. And so it's just a win-win. And this practitioner, she hasn't joined yet, but she will be. She just sent me a message the other day after I did her scan, and she said, I had to send you a picture of my thyroid lab work that I had drawn last Wednesday. The AO scan said my TSH was out of whack, and it was right.
Oh, wow.
So she was pretty impressed.
That's nice. That is
Yeah.
so nice. Anybody else like to share anything?
I will share. I deal with emotions a lot with my clients and stuff, and I know how well it works because I had a tragic sudden death of my mom in May of 22, and it's a very challenging family, to say the least. And I will say that without the AO scanner, I wouldn't have been able to be present in my grief and work through real time what was going on, and then be a rock for several others. And I feel like, the first year after a death like that, it can be super hard. And of course there's grief, and we have to process those. Are good emotions to experience because they're there and they're real. But the edge and the energetic charge to some of the could be devastating emotions have been very even keeled, to the point where I'm allowed to just cry when I'm hurting and let it go, instead of being stuck there, and just being aware of, even in the inner voice, when it's unconditional love versus conditional love, and healing, mother-daughter things, just all those things. So it's such a subtle thing, but it's very powerful. And then I do all the work with the human body because of how emotions wash over the brain and the rest of us, which I'll be talking about. So my health usually takes a dive when I go through something that hard. But I've been sick. I've had COVID, but but I would just say it made a huge difference. And I think it was the emotional equilibrium that allowed for that.
That is so awesome, Jim, because whenever I got my scanner, and I've told this several times, whenever I got mine, I was in a very, very dark place. I'd been in and out of psych wards. I'd been on so many medications, and I thought it was the first I'd ever heard about dealing with emotions. I was like, well, what is that supposed to be? And so mine I noticed it was extremely subtle, but as the days went by, I just felt like this light was, or this dark cloud was kind of lifting off of me. And even Scott was noticing it. He just kept saying how you just seem different today. You seem different today. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not doing anything different, and I'd just be listening to my tones over and over. And but it's after about the third month of doing the inner voice is when I kind of felt like I came out, and it was like, wow, everything is so much better and brighter now. I don't have to be so down and depressed about life. And then by the time the 6 month hit of using it consistently every day and doing the scans, and I would do, at the time we didn't have Easy Scan. We had just Vitals, Comprehensive, and the Cephis, and the inner voice. And at the time, I was doing my inner voice several times a day. And then I would do, whenever we first got it, I would do the Vitals and the Comprehensive every day. And boy, I got really sick. So I realized that that was a little bit too much for me at the time. So I backed off, and I was doing it, about every third day. I was making sure to get the Vitals and the Comprehensive done. But that inner voice, and I've said it many times, even from the stage, that inner voice is the most powerful thing you can use. And it's one of the things that I use consistently, even with my clients, and get lots of feedback from that with them. So I know it works because, like I said, it took me about 6 months, but I was in a really dark place. And then I started doing things that I was too afraid to do in the past, but began to do. Simple things like wearing sleeveless shirts. Being an overweight person, you have all these thoughts and think, oh, people are going to look at you weird. And it was always about what other people thought. It wasn't really just loving me for who I was. And one of the things, and I share this with people, and it's almost like their aha moment when I share this, but I'm going to share this with everybody. You know how when you'll hear your own voice on a recording, and how a lot of times you'll go, ooh, I don't like the sound of my voice? I began to love the sound of my voice.
Mhm.
Then I would start seeing myself on Facebook Lives or on videos. I was like, oh, my voice is not that bad. That was my aha moment that made me realize that I actually started to love myself, and love me for who I was. And that was a big transition for me. So when you can get to that place and realize, because before I hated myself, I did not like myself. In fact, I I was always saying how ugly I was, how fat I was, how, and everybody around me is like, why do you say this about yourself? Because that's not what you're about. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the way I feel, because that's what I was told as a kid. You'll never amount to anything. You're always gonna be fat. You'd be pretty if you wasn't fat, and this, that, and the other. So that's all I heard all the time. So when it got to that point where I actually, and my husband, my sweet husband, all the time saying how beautiful I was, and I would always shut him down and say, I am not beautiful, and he's like, but you are, you are a very beautiful person. I began to start accepting those things, or even accepting compliments that people were giving me. So to say that that voice in your head, that's a real voice. And when you start to change that and become the person that the creator has made you to be, it is a beautiful thing. And then a lot of people would start to come to me at these different events that I was at, and they're like, oh my gosh, you have this aura about you. And I'm like, I do, and I would just, instead of saying, no, I don't, I'm just, instead of doing that, I would start saying, well, thank you very much. What do you see with me? Or, whatever it was. And it was just amazing. So stick with it, be consistent with it. And I guarantee you're going to, and be consistent with your clients, get them to do the inner voice every day, if not multiple times a day. I'll do their monthly deals, and I'll say, hey, if you're having a hard time and maybe something's not feeling right, send me another voice message and tell me, hey, I'm having a rough day today. I'd like another set of tones. I do that for my clients, even though it's one a day that they get. But if they're struggling, I want to let them see how this technology can really help them. So
Wow, that's a great idea. Thank you.
it's what I found that really works. And I mean, when you hear Lauren say it all the time about the inner voice, there is something to that inner voice. I mean, the vitals, comprehensive body systems, all the Cephi, oh, that's amazing. But there is something with that inner voice, guys. There just really is. All right,
Wow.
I'm gonna let others, if you wanna share anything maybe for yourself, what it's done for you, or what it's done for maybe one of your clients. Feel free to share.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Hello, how's everybody doing?
Hello.
Good. Nice to see you.
Well, you can't see me this time.
It would be
At first I
nicer to
thought
see
about,
you.
and then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do that. But I did, I think I already mentioned it to Tammy. I think it was a few weeks ago, as we were ending to go on to Select's call, someone mentioned about erase and being able to erase pain. A couple of days ago, out of nowhere, I began to get stabbing pains in my left thigh. And it was, I mean, crucial. I was like, oh my God, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And the closer I told my mom when I got to 70, it was one thing. I guess now I need to say the closer I get to 75, I come up with all these aches and pains. But at any rate, as I was beginning to try to think, what could I take? What pain cream did I have? And I said, oh, I've got the AO scanner. It has erase on it. I grabbed the scanner, did my profile. I put it on erase and put it against that pain, where the pain was on my thigh. It took about 3 times maybe. And later on, I did it a couple more times. It wasn't as severe, but before I just was not able to do anything. I didn't know if I was going to have to go to the hospital or what. And the next day, I thought about, my thigh is not hurting at all, and it has not hurt since. So I would just wanted to say, yes, we can erase pain that we are in. And I tried it for a headache, and it did the same thing. I did it on both sides of my heads and my temple and erased the pain. So I was asking about erasing remotely. So there was a discussion with someone. They were trying to convince me that it wouldn't work. I'm not convinced that it wouldn't work.
I'm not convinced
Because of the
either.
way that frequency works, I don't see why it would not. So I would like some feedback. What you think? You're on
You're
mute.
on mute.
You're on mute, Tammy.
I believe it will work because if the intention is there and you are sending that with intention to help somebody, I believe it works. I always have.
And now that they've proven and they have known this, the elements of quantum entanglement, it's scientific. So our creator made all that for a reason.
Yeah.
And we're finally jumping in on the bandwagon of what has been the truth all along. And it's an aspect of prayer, but it's all the same thing. In him we live and move and have our being. So everything about what we are and what we do is intention and entanglement, and nothing we could like explain on this call. But I really, yeah, I believe that I did remote stuff with a terahertz wand by doing this, her pain, putting it on a anatomy chart. And she called later and said, what did you do? My legs were warm. And I'm like, it worked. That was like a year ago. So, but yeah, I do believe that. And good for you. And
How long?
I haven't used the erase. I'm using that. Like, duh.
Yeah.
I have a question. So
I'm
when you
sure.
I
erase,
kept hitting
but-
you, because I think it just does a 2-second broadcast or something short. So I just kept hitting erase, 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 and
So
putting
how
it
many-
against it, until I felt relief. But it wasn't a whole lot that it took for me to have relief. So I was saying that if someone called me, that I could tell them if they're already in my profile, I could pull them up. They could put the phone against the pain. I could hit release, and I think it would work.
And you
So how
can
many
also
times?
go
So
ahead,
how many
Carolyn.
times? Ask a question.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
Okay. How many times do you think you have pressed the erase button? Roughly 10, 15, 20?
I was in so much pain, and I've always got this thing. Maybe it's because I was brought up in ministry. I'm always going to do 3, 7, and 8. I'm going to do 3, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit. Either I'm going to do 7, God's completion, or I'm going to do 8, and because it's a fresh beginning, and I just always do that. But it was a number of times, but compared to having to have taken something, gotten it in my system, and as I say it, the next day I forgot that I had no more stabbing pains in my thigh.
I appreciate you bringing that up because I'm doing Cephy dots and my people love them for pain when we're working on a chronic situation until they, are healed. They've still got some pain, but they love the Cephy dots. They say it completely takes their pain away. But that erase, I completely forgot. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah.
We talked about it maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I forgot.
I think we were closing to go to Select. Somebody mentioned erasing the pain.
Yep. You can also use that on let's say you have like a dark energy in a room or even mold in a room. We've had people hold the scanner up next to a mold area and hit the erase several times and then also run Cephys on that, and lo and behold it will go away. The mold is gone the next day. So I tell you, it
One
works.
other question, and
Yes.
we probably won't have time to complete this. It's not a testimony. I have a question about the imprints. I'm trying to understand if we can't use the imprints not the imprints, what should I say? When we imprint a frequency. If we can't use it in the playlist, I don't understand.
For homeopathics or for anything?
Like I imprinted some of the things that I take. Is that what I call it? Is that right? Yeah. I imprinted like my turmeric, I imprinted my black seed oil, but I cannot use it in a playlist. So what was the purpose of me imprinting it?
So that was for you to find out with the easy scan if your body needed it on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, so it's only for determining if my body needs it. It's not for usage.
Well,
Right.
no, because you can imprint your homeopathic pellets, because what I do is I keep a bottle of the homeopathic pellets right here at my desk. And when the easy scan pulls up those items that says that I need, it's mostly the homeopathics. I imprint the homeopathics, but if it's just the other, like your other supplements or whatever, you could actually imprint that into your bottle of pellets as well. Take the frequencies internally as well as taking the supplements that what the scanner is saying the body needs. So
but where does turmeric show up then? Like if you imprinted turmeric into the scanner, where do you pull that up?
You can do that with just the imprint button. So put your turmeric on the bottom screen and the homeopathic bottle on the top screen, right, and go ahead and imprint that in your homeopathic pellets, and then also take the supplement. That way the body recognizes it, because Jen just did it the other day. She imprinted all of her supplements that she takes. She put it in a homeopathic bottle. And then what I commented on her thing is take the supplement as well as taking the imprinted homeopathic pellets, because it's taking the frequencies internally as well as taking the actual supplement, is going to make the body recognize that more readily. Does that make sense?
The main question here, ladies, is the fact that if you have 4 or 5 different ingredients that are not listed so that we can put them into one of these programs, like the factors of chia seeds and moringa, okay?
Uh-huh.
Those 2 things, I want to put those 2 things into a, a, an imprint,
Playlist.
a playlist. I want to create a playlist so that I can
Yeah.
put the chia seeds and the moringa in a playlist and then send that to me and send that to other people.
You can't do that right now, but the thing that you can do is imprint your Cephii dot broadcast. You can imprint it into water. You can imprint it to, you can still utilize it, but there is no playlist option at this time. However, we may have that option after Day of Discovery.
Right? Because just like water is super important to the human body, and I have a super water product that I have imprinted it, but I
Yeah.
want to put it into a playlist to send to people, because
Yeah.
the biggest problem with 99% of the so-called healthy people on earth is the fact that they are not consuming enough good, clean, pure water.
What
No, they're
if,
not.
what if you did them individually? So if you had the chia seeds, whatever, you can imprint it to the water and keep that there and just keep imprinting each thing individually. I know it's pain, but couldn't you do that
Good. Yeah.
Well,
until we have another solution?
what do you mean imprint them individually? I did. I imprinted 26 different items individually and stored them under in the general category, but now I can't find them.
Oh,
Oh, well, that might be a thing to connect with your sponsor or with me maybe after the Wow Wednesday call or something. I'll be happy to walk through the modules in the scanner and show you, kind of how to use that. Just reach out to me, message me, and we can jump on a Zoom call and I can show you that. Be happy to.
Well, one of the videos that I watched from Tammy Ward was the factors that she had scanned, imprinted water, like the iCare water, okay, and that she had that in her library so that she could grab it and broadcast that, send that to someone so that they would have the effects of that water.
Tabby, you won't remember that? Look at your face.
You're gonna have to show me that. That might have been a quantum day that I had.
Well,
I don't believe I've done that.
you showed it in your list of available things that you had imprinted.
Now I do have it in my supplement list. Yes.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. You put it in your supplement list.
Yes, I do. I have several different. I have water in different increments in my supplement list. I also have terahertz water in there, but
Right.
I can't broadcast that to anybody.
Okay,
I can imprint it.
Right. You can imprint it and use it for yourself, but you can't use it for anybody else.
I can add it to their profiles, and if it pops up, then we know that they need to get water in and they need a terahertz water.
Right.
So when Tammy has scanned her water in, when she does a quick scan, when I do a quick scan, I'll have 5 things pop up that I need. And so maybe with Tammy, one of them might be water. So I have pop up the supplements that I need. But I can't take those supplements and broadcast those.
Right.
Okay, well then.
Not yet.
If that helps.
Right. Well, we want these people who are in control of this program to get those into the list so that we can use them.
They are working on it. Trust me, those of us that have been involved for 2.5 years, we've been waiting patiently, and they keep coming out with all kinds of things, Alan. So be patient.
Okay,
They are coming a long way.
Well, it's a factor that, see, I'm sure you all are familiar with Olympic art, okay? Because
Yes.
back in the day of Olympic art, when I still believed in it and everything, I was on Olympic art and I formulated the chi boost to balance the body chemistry. Your chi is Chinese for balanced body chemistry, and ATP is the
Correct.
Western medicine. And
Correct.
it's amazing what happens when you get your body in chemically in balance.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've done this. I've helped people all over the world by them simply following my instructions and consuming the proper nutrition that I provide them in a formula, and they manually consume
Sure.
everything
Sure.
and cures their cancer. And water, see, water is one of the important factors here.
Hmm.
Ellen,
Okay,
I
well,
had
so you say until the company puts it into one of the lists of the ingredients, that all the work that we did to imprint all of these items was a waste of time because I can't use them.
You can use them. Why can't you
Yeah.
use them?
Well, how I
Uh,
cannot include them into
Imprint imprint your Cephi dot with it and wear the Cephi dot.
oh, okay. Okay. I can use it on me. See, I'm not worried about me. I'm in perfect health.
Then
I'm
imprint it and send some Cephi dots to your clients and say, wear this. And
okay.
then
So
you can also put the picture of what you've imprinted in that Cephi dot, put it in your spaces and objects, and you can broadcast that to the person. It's all about intention. If you
okay,
want to get
say that again now. When you said I could broadcast it, okay?
you can
That
broadcast, let's say, let's put a picture of the person in your spaces and objects, and maybe broadcast that to that person, whatever
right,
whatever
but if I want to include 15 different items, I
Mhm.
can imprint those items to the picture.
And then imprint the Cephi dot.
Okay, and set in, but I cannot set that up to transmit it to them on a continuous basis. I can
Why
send the
not?
selfie dot.
Why not?
Well, see, that's what you're telling me that first of all, if I've got their picture and I put all this information, I go ahead and I want chia seeds and moringa and cocoa and the water and everything. These are some of the things that are needed to balance your body chemistry, that I can somehow take those 5 items that I have imprinted and imprint them to a selfie dot, right?
Why not?
Okay, right. I can see the factors of imprinting into a selfie dot, but then you said that I can, because then I can send the selfie dot to them. But
729,
the
ladies.
question is, after I have imprinted the selfie dot and get this information to a selfie dot, why is it then that I can't set them up on a continuous broadcast for the same items?
I think you can. I think there's a way to do it. Let me play around with it.
Well,
Okay, because
I think we're getting mixed up between a playlist that broadcasts continuously and the idea that wearing a Cephi dot is a broadcast continuously.
no,
So they're kind of the
but
same thing.
right,
Because
Yeah.
once,
but
yeah.
I don't want to have to mail these selfie dots to them. Okay,
Well, then you can
I
look
Well,
for a solution. Wait till the company actually puts that in, and then your solution is there for you. So in the meantime, I was just trying to come up with a solution that you could do it.
right. Okay, well, there should be a way to do it. I can understand if I can grab all of the other things supplied by the company, why can't I grab all the things that I have personally imprinted in and put them into a continuous broadcast?
I think the
eventually
company
we
has
can.
to protect, yeah.
Yeah.
Say that
And I
again.
think the company has to protect the integrity of the frequencies that they've bought. They, it has to go through their system to make sure they can put it up as a plate. They
Sure.
can't just grab anyone's, you know,